Welcome to Explained Simply. Let's explore interesting things in the world together. Today let's find out signs you're too smart for most people. 1. The skeptical mind. Why intelligent people doubt. Let's dive into the first sign. You question everything. Imagine you're in a group chat and someone drops a fun fact. Everyone else gives it a quick thumbs up, a casual acceptance. But you're already pulling out your phone, typing it into Google. This isn't arrogance. It's a fundamental reflex of a mind that simply refuses to take anything at face value. Highly intelligent people are wired to doubt, to possess an inherent mental, prove it, reflex. This deep-seated skepticism acts as a powerful shield, protecting them from manipulation and misinformation. However, this protective mechanism often comes with a social cost, making them seem cynical, overly serious, or even dismissive to others. In the world of psychology, this trait is closely linked to what's known as epistemic curiosity. Not just a desire for information, but a relentless hunger for truth itself. The ironic twist is that smart people don't always want to be so skeptical, they just can't help it. Their brains are finely tuned to spot inconsistencies, turning the world into an endless, intricate puzzle. While others enjoy casual conversations, gossip, or trendy discussions, an intelligent person might find them painfully shallow. Studies even suggest that this constant overanalysis can reduce social bonding, as their mind is busy dissecting every nuance while others are simply connecting. So, when someone tells you that you think too much, what they're really implying is that you're noticing details they're choosing to ignore. This often makes intelligence feel lonely, not because you dislike people, but because you see too many layers beneath their words. 2. The curse of constant novelty. Why smart minds get bored easily. Moving on to our second sign, you get bored fast. Have you ever jumped into a new job, a fascinating hobby, or a captivating TV series, only to find yourself completely disengaged just a couple of weeks later? It's not because the thing itself was bad, it's often because your brain, in its rapid processing, has already solved it. Highly intelligent individuals possess what psychologists term a low tolerance for mental monotony. The moment a challenge ceases to stimulate them, their minds begin to crave novelty with an almost addictive intensity. Think of it like the dopamine rush thrill seekers chase. But instead of skydiving or extreme sports, your brain seeks intellectual danger. Complex ideas, unsolved mysteries, intense arguments, or ambitious projects. However, there's a dark side to this relentless craving. It often leads to an unstable life. You might find yourself hopping between different passions, friendships, or even careers. It's not a sign of flakiness, it's your brain demanding continuous stimulation. Psychologists call this the novelty paradox. The smarter you are, the more challenging it becomes to stay entertained by the conventional routines of life. This phenomenon often leads smart people to mistakenly equate chaos with creativity, believing they work better under pressure. In reality, their brain is simply addicted to the exhilarating rush of problem solving. Routine, for them, can feel like a slow, suffocating death. Yet, it's crucial to remember that boredom isn't always detrimental. It's often the fertile ground where creativity begins to brew. The real question is whether you can embrace that quiet space long enough for the next big idea to truly form, rather than immediately chasing the next shiny distraction. 3. The internal debate. Why smart people argue with themselves. For our third sign, let's talk about the war zone inside your head. You argue with yourself. It's not uncommon to have 2, 3, or even 5 distinct voices all debating a single point. You might conceptualize a brilliant idea, only to immediately subject it to rigorous scrutiny, tearing it apart with relentless logic. This isn't self-doubt in the traditional sense, it's a sophisticated form of mental cross-examination. Highly intelligent individuals automatically run complex thought simulations before they even utter a word. They've already anticipated 5 potential objections and mentally drafted counter-arguments, all within the blink of an eye. This internal process is why conversations with you often feel like debates, even when you're simply discussing a topic. Philosophers refer to this as dialectical reasoning. The brain's innate ability to construct, then systematically destroy, its own beliefs in the relentless pursuit of truth. In real-life interactions, however, this can make you seem intimidating. You're not trying to dominate. You simply have an almost allergic reaction to lazy or unchallenged thinking. But this comes at a significant cost. You rarely feel truly certain. For every conclusion your mind reaches, another voice immediately whispers, "But what if you're wrong?" It's an exhausting internal process. You crave peace, yet find it impossible to silence the perpetual courtroom within your head. Paradoxically, this very tension, this relentless questioning, is the engine that drives progress. Every great thinker, from the ancient wisdom of Socrates to the groundbreaking theories of Einstein, lived within this same tumultuous mental storm. Their genius was forged in the crucible of constant internal contention. 4. The overwhelmed empath. When emotional intelligence becomes a burden. Our fourth sign highlights a unique sensitivity. You feel emotionally out of sync. Imagine walking into a room and instantly sensing the underlying tension, even before a single word is spoken. You might observe someone smiling, but your mind immediately registers that their joy isn't quite genuine. This isn't paranoia, it's emotional intelligence amplified to an extraordinary degree. Highly intelligent people often possess heightened emotional perception, meaning they are acutely attuned to micro-expressions, subtle shifts in tone, and changes in energy that most others completely miss. While this ability can feel like a superpower, it carries a significant downside: constant overstimulation. When you perceive everything, it becomes incredibly easy to feel everything, too. You might find yourself utterly drained after social gatherings, not because you dislike the people, but because your brain has been unconsciously analyzing every emotional cue in the room. Their stress can quickly become your stress. Their discomfort can manifest as your own. And while most people can easily brush off minor slights or awkward moments, your mind tends to linger on the deeper implications. Why did they say that? What were they truly feeling beneath the surface? This over-empathy can, ironically, make you appear distant or cold, when in truth, you're often just overwhelmed by the sheer volume of emotional data. Intelligence doesn't always translate to social adeptness. Instead, it frequently makes you more acutely aware of the unspoken complexities that bind people. You see the invisible threads connecting everyone, and sometimes, you genuinely wish you couldn't. 5. The asynchronous mind. Why smart people struggle to connect. Next, let's explore our fifth sign. You struggle to relate. Picture this. You're explaining a fascinating idea. Your eyes light up, your mind races ahead, connecting concepts at lightning speed. Then, you glance at your audience and realize, with an awkward pang, that no one is truly following you. That uncomfortable silence isn't a reflection of you being weird. It's because your brain operates at a velocity that often outpaces most conversations. This phenomenon is termed asynchronous communication, where your thought speed and others' processing speed are fundamentally mismatched. You tend to skip steps that others need to bridge the conceptual gap. To you, the conclusion feels utterly obvious, a logical inevitability. To them, it feels as if you've suddenly teleported from point A to point Z without traversing the intermediate stages. Over time, this cognitive gap can make socializing incredibly tiring. You're often faced with a painful dilemma. Either you drastically oversimplify yourself and your ideas to fit in, or you remain silent to avoid the frustration of being misunderstood. Both choices, unfortunately, feel equally painful. Albert Camus once profoundly wrote, "Intelligence isolates." He wasn't exaggerating. The smarter you are, the more your world can feel solitary. Not because you lack the desire for connection, but because truly deep connection often necessitates an equal mental bandwidth. However, this isolation isn't an unchangeable fate. Some of the most profound friendships and relationships blossom not from shared intellect, but from a shared sense of curiosity. These are connections with people who might not think like you, but who are eager to think with you, exploring ideas together. 6. The pattern obsession. Seeing connections others miss. Now, for our sixth sign. You're obsessed with patterns. You don't just passively observe things. Your mind actively connects them. What might appear as random coincidences to others forms intricate constellations within your perception. A specific song lyric, a stranger's fleeting gesture, a repeated number, to most, these are negligible details. To you, however, they're often pieces of a larger, unseen pattern. Components of a hidden code demanding deciphering. This isn't superstition, it's a direct consequence of pattern recognition bias, a trait strongly linked with higher intelligence and creativity. Your brain is ceaselessly searching for structure amidst chaos, an innate drive that makes you exceptionally skilled at solving complex problems. Yet, this same ability can just as easily lead to overthinking. You possess an uncanny knack for spotting subtle cues that others entirely miss. A friend's concealed sadness, the true motive lurking behind a seemingly innocent compliment. are fundamental flaws in systems that no one else dares to question. But this heightened ability can also make you feel perpetually restless. The world transforms into an endless series of invisible riddles, each one seemingly demanding to be solved. When people dismiss your observations with a casual, "You're overanalyzing," they fail to grasp that this is your fundamental mode of experiencing reality. You simply see too much and connect too fast. It's not a conscious choice, it's the natural lens through which you perceive existence. Throughout history, this very obsession with patterns has fueled both profound genius and outright madness. Isaac Newton famously saw invisible forces in a falling apple, while Nikola Tesla envisioned intricate blueprints within lightning strikes. The critical distinction between brilliance and breakdown lies in knowing when to disengage, when to stop decoding the noise, and simply allow some things to exist as they are. 7. The hunger for depth. Why small talk is agonizing for the intelligent. Let's delve into our 7th sign. You absolutely hate small talk. You can navigate it, of course, discussing the weather, weekend plans, or office gossip. But every single word often feels like sandpaper grating against your soul. Highly intelligent individuals frequently find small talk profoundly meaningless because their minds have an insatiable hunger for substance. They yearn to discuss the vastness of the universe, the intricate depths of the subconscious, the future trajectory of civilization. Not whether Karen's cat clinched another Instagram contest. This isn't arrogance, it's a deep-seated intellectual hunger. Your curiosity burns with an intensity too profound for shallow waters. However, in a world that often operates on surface-level chatter, this hunger can easily make you appear antisocial, intense, or even aloof. In reality, all you truly desire is a connection that feels genuinely real. The kind of interaction where time melts away, where ideas passionately collide, and where both participants walk away feeling subtly, yet significantly, changed. But here lies the profound paradox. Small talk, in its deceptively simple form, often serves as the essential bridge to deep talk. It's the initial calibration phase, the human handshake that precedes the much-anticipated dive into the mind. Learning to tolerate it doesn't diminish your authenticity. Rather, it grants you access to a multitude of other worlds and perspectives. So, perhaps it's not about forcing interest in trivialities, but rather about reframing it as an invitation. Because sometimes, the person engaging in that seemingly superficial small talk might just be another deep thinker, cautiously testing the waters, looking for a kindred spirit beneath the surface. 8. The wit in darkness. Unpacking the intelligent sense of humor. For our 8th sign, let's explore a less conventional trait. You have a dark sense of humor. You might find yourself laughing at things that, by conventional standards, you probably shouldn't. This isn't because you're cruel or insensitive, but rather because your mind processes absurdity and recognizes underlying ironies much faster than your emotions can filter them. Psychological studies, notably from the University of Vienna, have found a fascinating correlation. People with higher IQs tend to genuinely enjoy dark humor, jokes that touch upon death, tragedy, and irony. Why this connection? Because understanding dark humor requires a unique mental dexterity. The ability to simultaneously hold multiple conflicting realities in your mind while maintaining a degree of emotional detachment. While most people might react with discomfort or offense, your brain quickly identifies the twisted but clever aspect. You inherently recognize the absurd contradictions that pervade life, observing how suffering and comedy often overlap, and how tragedy can, in a strange way, expose profound truths. The downside, of course, is that others might perceive you as insensitive or cold. They don't realize that your laughter isn't mockery, it's a form of existential recognition. You're not laughing at pain, you're laughing through it, acknowledging the often bleak humor of the human condition. This rare ability to extract wit from darkness has historically served as a secret survival tool for countless geniuses and artists. Think of comedic titans like Robin Williams and George Carlin, or even the brilliant mind of Stephen Hawking. All masters at transforming pain and difficult truths into poignant punchlines. So, if your humor occasionally unsettles those around you, remember it's not a broken sense of empathy. It's often the rare and profound ability to find a smile, even in the void. 9. The paradox of joy. Why intelligent people overthink happiness. Let's discuss our 9th sign. You overthink happiness. While most people instinctively chase happiness, you tend to analyze it. You might catch yourself asking, what even is happiness? and then proceed to dissect it with the meticulousness of a biology project, often diminishing its simple joy in the process. Highly intelligent individuals frequently experience what's known as existential dissatisfaction, a deep, persistent sense that life's common pleasures are often fleeting, trivial, or fundamentally insufficient. When your mind consistently zooms out to a cosmic, macro-level perspective, everyday joys can start to feel incredibly small and insignificant. You might savor a moment of success for a mere 5 minutes before your mind, already restless, begins to wonder, what's next? Or you might lie awake at night, grappling with profound questions like, why do humans even bother striving for meaning at all? This isn't necessarily depression, it's a heightened state of awareness turned inward. It's often referred to as the intelligence paradox. The smarter you become, the more challenging it can be to maintain a consistent state of happiness. This is because a deep understanding of how fragile and temporary everything truly is makes it difficult to feel genuinely grounded or content. But here's the hopeful and empowering part. Meaning doesn't have to be derived solely from the universe itself. It can, and often does, emerge from the act of creation. Intelligent people frequently discover their deepest joys not in consuming experiences, but in actively building ideas, crafting stories, devising solutions. When your brain feels too expansive for the confines of this world, the most fulfilling path is often to create worlds of your own, where your intellect can truly flourish and find its purpose. 10. The silent observer. Why intelligent people often feel like outsiders. Finally, we arrive at our 10th and most profound sign. You feel like an outsider, even among people you love. You can be surrounded by friends, family, and laughter, yet still experience a subtle, almost imperceptible sense of detachment, as if you're observing the entire scene from behind a pane of glass. This isn't arrogance, nor is it coldness. It's the silent, often heavy, burden of heightened awareness. When your mind perceives life from so many angles simultaneously, it becomes incredibly challenging to fully belong to just one perspective or group. You understand too much, the inherent fragility of relationships, the relentless march of time, and the comforting illusions most people cling to simply to maintain their sanity. Intelligent individuals often carry this invisible distance, embodying a quiet observer energy. They possess the remarkable ability to adapt to virtually any crowd, to blend in seamlessly. Yet they can never truly dissolve into it. This phenomenon is what psychologists term metacognition fatigue, the sheer exhaustion that comes from constantly watching yourself think, analyzing your own thoughts and reactions in real time. You might smile, nod, and play along with social rituals, but deep down, a part of your mind is always analyzing the moment. Its ironies, its impermanence, its hidden dynamics. You are simultaneously a participant and a narrator of your own life. This duality, this relentless self-awareness, can make even moments of genuine joy feel slightly secondhand, filtered through a cognitive lens. But here's the truth that most people will never tell you. Being different doesn't equate to being disconnected. Many of history's greatest minds, from the introspective Kafka to the visionary Da Vinci, walked this very same lonely edge. It's not an exile, it's a unique perspective. You're not standing outside of life. You're simply seeing all of it, in its glorious and complex entirety. So, the next time you feel like an alien in your own world, remember that solitude isn't a punishment for intelligence. Don't forget to support this kind of content by subscribing and watching this other super curious video you'll love.